When I set out to make this CHET Holmgren build, I wanted to perfectly highlight his dynamic skill set and honestly make a center that could really do everything on the court. I feel like being this deep into 2K25, most people aren't really looking for new builds, but trust me, the amount of fun you can have on this type of center might really change your mind and convince you to just go ahead and make one. On offense, this build is a sharpshooter while also having post control to get jiggy down low, and I didn't even have to compromise any of his finishing attributes either. Not to mention on defense, he can hold down the paint with a crazy high block and interior, matched with the physicals to snag both offense and defensive rebounds. So without further ado, let's put some respect on this NBA champion CHET Holmgren build and stick to the end so I can give y'all my honest review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Jesus Christ first always, man. Enjoy. YouTube, Robin, aka Will Robski. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel. Thank you for tuning into another video. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in. I have missed you guys. I am sorry. Took a little hiatus. Was taking a little vacation. We're back on the build grind. We're deep into the 2K25 season. So I don't know if you're looking to make a new build. This, like I mentioned in the intro, just might convince you to do just that. I know we're like 2 months away from 2K26, but why not have some fun? That's exactly what this game is for, to have some fun. And I'm having a lot of fun on this CHET Holmgren build. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. You see, we're going to be CHET Holmgren, right-handedness, jersey number 7. I'm going to show you guys this center. Now, I know you might be saying CHET Holmgren is not 7 foot. Trust me, 7 foot is what you're going to want to be running on this build because you get so much compared to 7'1" or 7'2". So you're just going to have to let go of that desire to be the exact height if you want to make this build. And I think you will want to make this build. And just at the outset of this build, let's go ahead and make sure that you guys know that I have +8 cap breakers on this build. So we're going to be a height of 7 foot, 227, and 7'4". And with those +8 cap breakers, obviously, those are going to be implemented in my build. If you don't have that many, or if you have more, you can make this build even better. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We start usually with the physicals, so we're going to go ahead and keep that. We're going to keep that trend going. We're going to have a speed all the way maxed out, 74. One thing that I cannot stand is having a center who all your team is down court, you still got the rebound, passed it out, and it takes you like 5 seconds just to get up court. We're not trying to do all that. We're going to put our speed maxed out for that very reason. And I tweaked the height and the weight, not the height and the weight, but mainly the weight in order to get the speed that I wanted. 74 speed as a center is absolutely elite. We also did max out the agility to a 64, and our strength we're going to put all the way at an 84. The reason why is this is tied to our box out beast, which we want to be able to have at least a decent badge for our box out beast. If we don't, we're going to be getting wormed to the point where we're going to want to throw our Xbox away. So let's go ahead and show you guys the vertical. The vertical is going to be at an 81. You might be wondering why I put it at an 81. 80 is a standard to get some good badges, good rebounding. I put 81 just because I was able to squeeze that out of this build iteration. But let's go ahead and move on to the finishing. So let's start with the standing dunk. The standing dunk is going to be put all the way at an 81, and these standing dunk animations paired with the driving dunk, which I will get into in a little bit, is going to unlock the animations that you see on the screen right here. 81 is a good middle ground to not be crazy elite, but also be able to get silver rise up to be able to finish down low on smaller defenders, on some bigs. Some bigs are going to have crazy interior, so you won't be able to finish on them. Just kick it out a little bit if they're there. Kick it out, reset. 81 standing dunk. We actually have like 5 different standing dunk animations equipped on this build. You're going to unlock also the Shaquille O'Neal signature dunk package with this if you guys so choose to run that. Our driving dunk is going to be placed at a 73. You see, we do actually have bronze posterizer. Now this actually does go up to silver, I believe. Scratch that. This actually only goes to bronze posterizer, but that's okay because you're going to be able to still finish at the rim pretty well. The reason why I paired this driving dunk with this standing dunk as well as this driving layup of an 80 is we're going to be able to get Giannis Antetokounmpo's signature dunk package. You also do get a good amount of driving dunk animations on 1 foot and 2 foot, but to be honest, they look a little slow, so I decided to just run the Giannis layup package with the Giannis signature dunk package. And we're also going to be getting gold aerial wizard, so that actually does help us a lot when it comes to having a good amount of alley-oop animations. Another thing to note is that this standing dunk does unlock pro contact dunks, standing dunk animations. I don't really use the meter down there, but if you so choose, this build has that ability, which is something that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. This build can literally do everything, so this finishing literally has everything. One thing that I do also want to note is our close shot is going to go all the way up to an 84. Silver paint prodigy and silver float game is what that's going to unlock. You can throw some hooks. If you want to throw some hooks down, you could throw some hooks. If you want to get crazy in the post, you could do that. That perfectly segues into our post control. So for our post control, we're going to have a 79 post control. Once we upgrade our mid range and our 3, we're actually going to be getting post fade phenom on gold. You could get jiggy down low. Now, one of the things that I really did since we play on a 5 out, usually against the zone, is I didn't really implement too much of this post control. So you don't need to put yours this high if you don't feel like you're going to be playing the post control. But for me, I like knowing that if I get bored of just sitting in the corner, or if I get bored of just setting some screens and diving to the rim, I can play the post control pretty well. But yeah, I really like the Giannis driving layup. I think that that's 80 is a good place. We're going to be getting also with our strength that I mentioned earlier in the physical section, silver physical finisher, but mainly the driving dunk and the standing dunk is what you want to really be focused on, because this build's going to have some O-board. Once you snag the O-board, you can go up with confidence. You're not just going to have to pass it out. 81 standing dunk, 73 driving dunk, I feel like is a good budget place for this build, because honestly, I don't ever have scenarios where I feel as if, man, I wish I would have put my driving dunk higher. 73 is a solid place to put it, especially for this CHET Holmgren build. So that's that for the finishing. Let's go ahead and move on to the mid-range. So for the jumper that I unlocked, which I want to show you guys on the screen right here, you actually only need an 82. I decided to go all the way up to an 85 because you see we do get this silver deadeye. And then for our 3-point shot, we're going to put that at a 75. I feel as if that's all you need. Once you have a higher midi, it's really going to help you because we do have this silver deadeye and we have this silver set shot specialist to shoot better from 3. So if you look at 75-3 and think, I don't think that'll be good. I'm in the Pro-Am right now, probably shooting 50% from 3. I think that's all you could ask for a big. You're going to be able to stretch the floor. And the free throw is one of those things where usually at the end of the build, you'll go ahead and change it or improve the attributes there. That's exactly what I did on this one. So our free throw, I was able to squeeze out a 77. I've been playing on the rec and on the Pro-Am in this build, and I run the KD free throw. I don't feel as if I need to go any higher on this free throw. So an 85 midi with a 75-3. Space the floor. Don't be one of those bigs who cannot shoot unless you're going to be setting screens literally on every play like some people do in the Pro-Am. But the 75-3 paired with the tempo shooting, paired with the Ethernet core, paired with the jump shot pack, you could shoot from 3 very, very well. I do not go into the rec or the Pro-Am without my build juiced up off the jump shot packs, juiced up off any boost, to be honest, because you be going against the sweaties, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Go against the sweaties and you start missing your threes. Those threes got to be chicken. A 3-point shot of a 75 is going to get you where you need to be. Trust me on that. Another thing about having taller builds is that you're actually going to be able to shoot over smaller guards. So if there's like 6'2", 6'3s in that 2-3 zone trying to close out to you, you really don't see them at all. And actually, now that we have the mid-range, the post-fade phenom you can see right here is going to be on gold. Another thing that I want to mention before I actually get into the other attributes is that the takeover that I was running was this glass warrior that you see. It took me quite a while to unlock this, and I was thinking that it would just be super elite on the blocking once you do get it, and it is pretty elite on the blocking. But if I was you, one thing that I would do is actually put the takeover here on horse, because that vertical, although glass warrior does get you some plus O and plus D board, this horse is going to help you snag even more because it shows you where the missed shots are going to be, and also mainly because you can increase your vertical. Though if you didn't know by now, the vertical actually helps you a ton snagging rebounds. So that was another reason why I put 81 vertical. So let's go ahead and move on to the pass accuracy. 75 pass accuracy is what I decided to put on this build. We're going to get silver break starter, and that's probably the lowest that I would go, especially if you're going to run this build in the Pro-Am, because sometimes he will throw it out and he will, it'll give you the guy, your teammate, an animation where he kind of stumbles forward. He doesn't honestly throw it out of bounds very much, but 75, having those guards that you're going to play against within the Pro-Am with that super high steal on the other team can cause you some problems if you decide to go lower. I would not recommend that. Another thing is that we actually have dimer on tier 2, so you can +1 that and make that gold dimer. That's what I chose to do. Another thing that I want to get in this playmaking section is this ball handle. So the ball handle we put all the way to a 70, and our speed with ball all the way to a 60. The speed with ball all the way to a 60 is going to unlock Zion Williamson dribble style and all these animations that I'll show you on the screen right here. Mainly the ball handle is what's more important for like the behind the backs, the crossovers. That ball handle is going to unlock all the pro animations that you need. And man, I will say bigs very commonly do not have any perimeter on their build. What you can do is get these bigs out on the perimeter and you can get jiggy. That was one of the things that I really thought that I should incorporate on this CHET build, because we all know that CHET actually, for a 7'1" or 2er, he has some good handle on him. That was something, again, that this adds to the fun of 2K. You can be able to dribble, you can be able to cross over. You don't have to just sit there in the corner or set screens all day. You can literally dribble your butt off. And I'll really try to incorporate some highlights of that. With the driving dunk, you can get past them, you could dunk, you could pump fake, standing dunk, post control. I really feel like if you want to build a center that could dribble well, 70 ball handle and 60 speed with ball is all you need. And although the 60 speed with ball isn't tied to any attributes or any badges rather, you will see having that Zion Williamson dribble style does help a tremendous amount. For what it's worth, we also get bronze unpluckable. But let's go ahead and move on to the defense. So for the interior defense, I put an 88 and I paired that with a block of a 90. Now keep in mind, we do have those +3 cap breakers, or +8 cap breakers rather, in our back pocket. So we're going to actually +3 this block eventually, and we're going to be able to get gold paint patroller. Now I will vouch for for this badge a tremendous amount because there's a lot of times where I don't get the block, but because I have the gold paint patroller, it causes the guy to miss his block, to miss his dunk. So we're eventually going to get gold paint patroller, but you won't be able to see it here. We actually have gold high flying denier as well. This badge, I will say, doesn't activate as much, but it's nice to have it in your back pocket as well. One thing that I did squeeze out of this build was a 60 steal. This is honestly because I got to the point where when I finish the build, I can bring this down all the way to a 43, and it still doesn't really give me much. It only is +1 attribute to my potential overall. So a 60 steal is nice to have, at least for this bronze interceptor. You can occasionally at least block the pass down court if they're trying to run out, and with the speed, they won't be able to run out on you pretty much anytime, especially the center, because they're going to be way slower than you. Or at least the max thing is that's going to happen is they're going to be the same speed as you. So with a 60 steal, you can at least play the lane a little bit and press X occasionally. Again, nothing you can't really do. With the perimeter, we're going to have a 62 perimeter. The reason why I went 62 is so I can play a little bit of those screens. It is advisable that you have sort of a back end power forward who can play those screens a lot better. But for this build, I was able to at least get bronze immovable enforcer. There will be some bigs that are trying to dribble as well. This will help you. Again, it's a +2 badge. So if you're going to go against some sweaty bigs who like to, do some dribbling the same way you're going to do, you're going to have that 62 perimeter that gives you this bronze immovable enforcer, and you can +1 that if you don't want to do the dimer to silver immovable enforcer. So let's go ahead and move on to the rebound, which is absolutely crucial a thing to have as a big. The defensive rebound we're going to put at an 87, and we're going to +5 that. The +5 is going to give us this gold rebound chaser and gold box out beast. I will say, if you want to play in the pro-am, it is very important that you get to your tier 1 badge and put this rebound chaser all the way to Hall of Fame. If you don't have Hall of Fame, you're not going to snag as much as you could. Now that I'm in the season where I've unlocked the tier 1 +1 badge, I noticed that my rebounds per game is probably +5, so I was snagging like 9 to 10 with gold rebound chaser. I'm probably at like 12 to 15 with Hall of Fame rebound chaser. It makes a tremendous amount of difference. One thing that I was really surprised that I actually got out of this build is an 80 offensive rebound, and there you go. Here's the build right here. I can snag rebounds. I'm going to show you guys a couple highlights here. Trust me, you can snag rebounds on an 80 offensive rebound, and also with an 87, which will eventually go to a 93, which will eventually +1 that to Hall of Fame rebound chaser. You're going to be a monster. There's nothing that this build can't do. Honestly, I'm having a lot of fun. This build can play also not just in the rec, but also in the pro-am. You can be sweaty. The only thing that I would knock this build for is you only get silver brick wall on this build. There will be occasions, because you're going to go against locks who have high perimeter, they're going to be able to get around your screens. I would recommend you have a power forward who sets those screens, because this is more of a dynamic build, and I didn't want to put too much weight on him so he'll be too slow. That's the one knock that I will give on this build. So I will only give this build a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10. It's super fun. Let me go ahead and show you guys the shades. I know we're deep into 2K. These are actually some really good shades. Victor Wembanyama, Joel Embiid, Onyeka Okongwu. We're going to be number 7, and we will be a two-way inside the arc threat. One thing to note, once you +5 and +8, those different attributes, you're going to become a versatile enforcer, and I like that build name a lot more. I know, like I was mentioning, we're deep into 2K. You might not be wanting to make a build, but trust me, this is a lot of fun. If you don't want to build it, don't build it. But let me know what you guys think about the build in the comments. Share this with auntie, granny, uncle, all that. I appreciate you guys for running me up to 1,100 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 2K, eventually get to 5K, and we'll just build from there. But God bless you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in the video. If you made it to the end, I really do appreciate you. God bless you guys. Until the next one. Deuces.